Flex Barbie here. Welcome back to the Flex Pretty Podcast. I am so excited to introduce you to our guest for today, none other than my sister-in-love, Tammy Moss. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It is an absolute pleasure. And for those out there who don't know you, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Okay. So I am, like Dekel mentioned, I am her sister-in-law, and I am a pediatrician, and I look after kids for a living, but I'm also a mom of 3, very, very busy with my own practice. So I am just really thrilled to be here.
Awesome. So, Tammy, I know I've seen you and your fitness journey over the years, and every time I see you posting online, I'm like, I don't know how Tammy, I know you're a busy pediatrician, you're a wife, you're a mom, you wear all these hats, have all these roles, and you still make time to prioritize your fitness. I know for me, I don't have kids yet, but for me, as someone who tends to put a lot on their plate, that is super inspirational to me because I'm like, when I do have kids, I know that it can be done, right? That you can wear all these hats, have all these important, priorities, but still make time to prioritize your fitness. So tell me, what made you, take that step in prioritizing your health and fitness?
Well, I think I've been a lifelong perfectionist and always wanted to do everything right. So that was no different when it came to motherhood. So I got married, I had kids, and I started putting everybody ahead of myself. I want to be a perfect wife, perfect mom, do everything right, be available, perfect at my job. And I found that I was actually suffering because of it. So I was burnt out, not really feeling like myself or even remembering who I was. And fitness has always been a part of my life. So I was actually forced to take some time away from my family. I was sent to Jamaica to work in the hospital there for a few months. And it was the first time in maybe about 6 years that I could remember feeling like this is Tammy. And so I had time to reconnect with fitness because I actually had time. And so when I came back, I was like, I have to make a priority to set aside at least 1 hour a day for myself, to take care of myself and make sure that I'm okay so that I can give to everybody else.
And I love that. A lot of times women, I work with a lot of women as a trainer, and they come with that similar, I put everybody ahead of me for too long. And now it's time for me to make this step in this direction before I'm told by, my doctor that I have to, with a diagnosis or a health scare.
Yeah.
And, they can't really pour into the people they love fully and wholeheartedly without taking care of themselves.
Absolutely.
So I love that. And tell me, what is your fitness regimen like? Like, what is it like now? Has it evolved over the years?
So it's definitely evolved. I actually was telling a friend of mine a few weeks ago, I said, 20 years ago, when I was in university, it was all like aerobics, cardio, eat as little as possible, because the goal was to be as thin as possible. And obviously now, thank God, we've seen the light and we know that, we want to be strong, we want to be fit. You actually have to eat, consume sufficient calories. And so now that I'm in my 40s, and have started to experience different hormonal imbalances and everything, I realized in my research how important strength training and weightlifting is. So that's a big part of my regimen now. Cardio, I still do some, but it's down to a minimum, not nearly as much as I used to do before. So I do strength training maybe about 3 times a week. Awesome. And I do maybe about 20 to 30 minutes of cardio. I try to get in 5 to 6 days a week. Most days it's about 5.
That's a lot of cardio. You said that's little. That's
a lot. so most times I can get in like 5 days a week.
That's a good balance, though. Yeah, and then, I know and you know this, women, as we get older, we naturally, and men, as we get older, we naturally lose muscle. Yes. And so the strength training helps us, fight that muscle loss or slow down the loss of muscle as we age. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I want to segue into, you have 3 kids.
Yes.
Give us their ages.
So I have 3 kids. My oldest, she is 19. She's going to be 20 this
You got
year.
a woman, Tammy.
A whole adult. I still can't believe it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So I have a 20-year-old. My second daughter is 15. She's going to be 16 in May. And my baby is not so much a baby anymore. He's 10.
Okay.
So yeah, everybody's up and out of the way. Yeah.
So you have been through the postpartum journey 3 times.
Yeah.
And I know, y'all know Tammy looks amazing. And so I have to ask you, what, for the 3 postpartum journeys you've been on, I'm sure they've not all been identical.
No, they haven't.
And has fitness been a part of your postpartum, I guess, journey for all 3 of them? If not, like, walk me through some of the differences.
Yeah, so each pregnancy was different. The one consistent thing was that I put on 50 pounds with each of my pregnancies.
50, okay.
50 pounds. 50 pounds. The first pregnancy, I was in my 20s. I was 25. And like that weight came off in no time. Like the snapback was real. But even when I got back down to my pre-pregnancy weight, maybe in about 3 months or so, I was back down to that. Everything fit different. I still had a different body. So the scale was saying that I was back to where I should be, but my hips were wider. My tummy was a little softer. So, even though the weight was the same, it was the first time I realized like the number on the scale doesn't really mean much. You have to address what it is you actually have and you're working with. But even with that, I've always been working out since I was very, very young. So fitness has always been a part of my life. So definitely each postpartum journey that I had, that was a big part of it. So, a lot of total body workouts and everything then. I think, I would stick to programs because I was kind of moving all over the place. I was in medical school. And so whatever I did had to be able to be adapted to where I was physically in my life. The second pregnancy, again, I did a lot of aerobics, and because that was where I felt comfortable in the gym. I think that's where I kind of started out with step classes and doing funk aerobics and Zumba and all these different things.
It didn't feel like working out.
It didn't feel like working out. It was fun.
Yeah.
And then after my third pregnancy, so that was the first baby I had in Nassau. I was well into my mid-30s by then. And it was the first time that I started to venture over to like the weight section. Like I may as well have gone to Mars. And I remember I had to call Ethan and you, and I was like, please, you guys come with me to the gym so you can kind of walk me through what I'm supposed to do over on this side.
That would have been 10 years.
Yeah, that was right after I had Lulu, because I realized then that I did have to incorporate some weightlifting into my regimen. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go over to the scary part of the gym. And I love it. I love it there. I'm
now you don't look back.
I feel like a beast over there now. I'm like, yeah.
Awesome. So what advice would you give? I know that there's probably someone who is early in their postpartum journey or maybe a little further along in it, but they're struggling getting back on track. What advice would you give to that mom?
So I do encounter a lot of moms in my work.
Yeah.
And I feel like, it's a ministry, what I do. So I'm there to take care of the babies, but I'm there to take care of the moms as well. And one of the biggest things that I tell them is that you have to give yourself grace.
Yeah.
You have to be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, take time to take care of yourself. And, the snapback that we see on TV and all that stuff, for some people, that's their truth and that's their reality. But for most people, it's not. It definitely wasn't for me the second time around or the third time around.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just take your time, do what you can. Your body's healing. And, every day do a little bit. But the important thing is to set that time out for yourself. It may just be walking that you start off with, but get your body accustomed to moving. And when you feel able to do more, then you do more.
Yeah, so I love the momentum principle. I love to share that because you can't build capacity unless you are moving, right?
That's right.
And as you do more, you build that capacity to do even more.
Exactly.
But you got to start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just start literally one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, but I feel like, I think it's the time. It's not just with fitness. We want things to happen a lot sooner than they naturally do.
Yes.
So we want to push the envelope, push the limits, and sometimes we feel like if something isn't, we can't give 100%, it's not gonna.
It's not going to happen for us ever.
Yeah, and it's not gonna be beneficial if I can't do 3 days a week in strength training like
Then,
Tammy, then I might as well
what's the
not do.
point?
Yeah, I might as well not do anything.
Yes. So that's one of the other big things that I have had to learn myself, and that I do share with others, is that, I, like I mentioned, I started doing these programs where it'd be like, okay, 7 days a week or 6 days a week, and I'd miss the third day, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I might as well give up. I'm never going to get through this program. And it's, you have schedules, you have things that you have to do. I
Life
travel
happens.
a lot, life happens.
Yeah.
And so I've learned, okay, what does consistency look like for me? With all the traveling that I do, with the school runs and different things that I have to do, I'm like, okay, what can I commit to? I can commit to 4 days a week. I can commit to 60 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And so that's what I try to do. And if I, quote unquote, fall off, how long do I allow myself to fall off for? So it's like, okay, I can't go longer than a week or longer than 2 weeks without working out. Because sometimes you get sick.
Yeah,
Your
things
energy
happen.
levels are down.
Kids are
things
sick,
happen.
maybe. Yeah.
Exactly. So, you have to, I realize that not sticking to a particular program that you set in your head or that somebody set out for you, not, missing a day or two of it, you don't stay down long. You get back up, literally put one foot in front of the other, and get started again, because every little bit that you do is better than doing nothing at all.
Yeah, and even if it's not a physical change or, the scale may not be moving, if you're not doing your ideal scenario, it's still building that habit, right?
Absolutely.
And building that consistency.
Absolutely.
So that when you are able to go full throttle, you don't have to restart, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I love that. Let's talk a little bit about supplements. I know that you're a Fitness Connection customer.
Yes.
Fitness Connection
They
has
get all my money.
not all.
Not all. Quite a bit.
So Fitness Connection is sponsored this episode today, and I just want to talk about what products, what supplements, equipment even, have you found beneficial to you in your fitness journey?
So I've been in and out of Fitness Connection for a very long time. I think even before you and Ethan were together.
Really?
Yeah. So I started off, really starting to pay attention to my nutrition and realizing that I can't put garbage into my body and expect it to work like a well-tuned machine. So one of the big things for me was making sure when I started tracking what I was actually putting in, I realized I was not getting sufficient protein to meet the types of goals that I wanted to meet. And so I started supplementing with some of the protein powders and making different shakes and everything with that. Especially on those, at that time, I was still doing like 36-hour calls at the hospital. And, you're sitting up in the middle of the night. Really, everybody should be asleep and not eating at that point. But sometimes that's maybe like when you're getting dinner in. So on the go, the protein powders and being able to make shakes and everything was really helpful in helping me to meet those targets, even though I was super busy. So definitely the protein powders. And then for my workouts, I tend to use the pre-workouts. They definitely made a difference.
You work out in the morning, right?
I work out in the morning. So I need something to boost me up, wake me up, and get me ready to go. And so the pre-workout, I use the Riptide one. It's been pretty good for me. I like that. And then now, I'm telling you that I feel like once you turn 40, everything kind of, you're like, what is going on with my body? And so as you start to hit that age and the hormonal changes start to take place, you have some difficulty with sort of processing sugars and that sort of thing. And so I really had to do a lot of research in terms of what natural supplements I could use to help increase my insulin sensitivity, so that, I'm not craving carbs all the time, that sort of thing. So I've been using a lot of the berberine and the ashwagandha supplements as well. And then, the night sweats and the interrupted sleep, insomnia, like 3 a.m. There was a period where 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning, I was
You were
wide
up.
awake, like staring at my ceiling. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh, no.
And so I found out again that that was related to some hormonal imbalances and nutrient deficiencies. And so I take magnesium glycinate to help with that.
Okay.
So I've been able to find all of these things at Fitness Connection. So it's very convenient, everything in one place. And then, of course, I bought all the dumbbells.
Your
bought,
equipment.
yeah, bought
Yeah.
all the equipment, the dumbbells, the walking pad I bought recently, which was amazing
Okay.
because I do love to walk and run as well. And we had some weather where for like must have been for 4 or 5 days in a row I couldn't get out. So I was like,
Yeah.
you know what?
No
I'm gonna go
excuses.
get this walking pad and I'm gonna sit here and do this while I watch entertainment TV or something. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
got a walking pad too, so
yeah,
I know how convenient that could be when it's
yes,
just easier to get it all done in one place, less
yeah,
interruptions. You don't have to be dependent on the weather and
exactly. I
yeah,
always tell people if you have everything available, the easier it is to access, the more likely it is you're gonna get your workout
yeah,
done.
making it convenient
Yes,
and limiting the excuses and
that's
the
right.
means to opt out.
That's right. I'm like, if you can sit on the couch for an hour, you can go on the walking
You could
pad for an
scroll for an
hour.
hour. You
Yeah,
could scroll on the
you
walking
can scroll
pad.
while you're on the walking pad. Like, you can get it
I'm very
done.
guilty of that.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Tammy. I am so happy you joined me today for this episode. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank
And
you.
before we close out, I know
Hmm.
you shared advice for postpartum moms,
Hmm.
and like I mentioned when we started the episode, you are a woman that wears many hats,
Yep.
and I am truly inspired by you and
Thank you.
your just ability to wear them all very well, and again, still prioritize your health and your fitness because I think so many women, when they're excelling in one area, they think that that is the only area that matters.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that you are living and, such great proof that you can prioritize your health and fitness and still be high functioning, excelling in all of these other areas as
Absolutely.
well. So I want you to leave our women watching with another just general for all women, whether they're moms, professionals, they're postpartum, leave them with some words of wisdom from Tammy.
So I always say that you have to make yourself the first priority. And as much as we want to be great at all the things all the time, you have to remember you just choose what's your priority today. There are some days
Yeah.
where you're going to suck at being a mom, you're going to suck at being a wife, you're going to suck at your job. I feel like true success is that you just don't suck at all of them at the same time.
Okay.
Like pick what you're going to be great at today and go kill it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Tell us where we can find you, where we can connect with you.
Okay, so I am on Instagram at thegooddoc242. I'm also on Threads. And if you're looking to find me in person, my office is Healthy Kids Pediatrics. And I'm in the shops at Cable Beach here in Nassau.
Thank you so much, Tammy.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you all for tuning in. And thank you again to Fitness Connection for sponsoring today's episode. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more episodes and drop a comment below and make sure you follow. We'll link all of Tammy's pages in the description as well. So make sure you check her out at those. And until next time, we'll see you on the next episode of the Flex Pretty Podcast.